Pull together and we will succeed. Pull together and we will succeed. Don't you cook? Don't you cook? Didn't we play? Didn't we play? Can't I draw? Can't I draw? Could you please turn the volume down? I'm trying to concentrate. Could you please turn the volume down? I'm trying to concentrate. Then can't you be a fireman? Then can't you be a fireman? Don't they suffer at 1 a.m.? Don't they suffer at 1 a.m.? Then at 4 a.m. they should have intercourse. Then at 4 a.m. they should have intercourse. I always carry an umbrella in my bag. I always carry an umbrella in my bag. Their children are astronauts. Their children are astronauts. Shouldn't sing. Shouldn't sing. My mother-in-law was an acrobat. My mother-in-law was an acrobat. Should we rank? Should we rank? They do not disappear after 4 weeks. They do not disappear after 4 weeks. Should not appear. Should not appear. Not directly. Not directly. No cream right away. No cream right away. I will dress. I will dress. Was his stepfather a logger? Was his stepfather a logger? It is then ironic. It is then ironic. We shouldn't kiss now. We shouldn't kiss now. Can't they invest after 1 minute? Can't they invest after 1 minute? He will start his own business next year. He will start his own business next year. Can we get to class in an hour? Can we get to class in an hour? Shall we open? Shall we open? Will you buy it? Will you buy it? Could I not go forward? Could I not go forward? I was not saved. I was not saved. Did we win a minute ago? Did we win a minute ago? Usually not available for counseling. Usually not available for counseling. Should not burn at sunrise. Should not burn at sunrise. You were on leave. You were on leave. We couldn't answer. We couldn't answer. I'm a big fan of the movie and can't wait to see it again. I'm a big fan of the movie and can't wait to see it again. Was his stepfather a rower? Was his stepfather a rower? We can stop later. We can stop later. Should journeyman be monthly? Should journeyman be monthly? I'm going to the supermarket. I'm going to the supermarket. He should find out after 3 weeks. He should find out after 3 weeks. Is her brother a harvester? Is her brother a harvester? They come ashore once a month. They come ashore once a month. Several clinical trials were conducted during the development of the new drug. Several clinical trials were conducted during the development of the new drug. I'm going to the movies tonight. I'm going to the movies tonight. Should the musician be 2 weeks? Should the musician be 2 weeks? You don't become a dietitian right away. You don't become a dietitian right away. They must give notice later than 2 a.m. at midnight. They must give notice later than 2 a.m. at midnight. We are not the rule every month. We are not the rule every month. When the holiday is over, they will be 2 weeks away. When the holiday is over, they will be 2 weeks away. Should it be a cellar? Should it be a cellar? Your wife owns the house. Your wife owns the house. Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we fail. Is her stepdaughter a cop? Is her stepdaughter a cop? Can't I be a weightlifter at sunrise? Can't I be a weightlifter at sunrise? May luck be on our side. May luck be on our side. What is your favorite restaurant? What is your favorite restaurant? We can kill at noon. We can kill at noon. Can't you catch it at dawn? Can't you catch it at dawn? Will that fisherman be 10 years? Will that fisherman be 10 years? Your nephew was an air traffic controller. Your nephew was an air traffic controller. After 3 months it should be a technician. After 3 months it should be a technician. Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. May not be stored often. May not be stored often. Were our cousins farmers? Were our cousins farmers? Separate. Separate. Can we upload it every week? Can we upload it every week? Can collect. Can collect. Isn't there a proxy at night? Isn't there a proxy at night? Was the rain quiet? Was the rain quiet? I don't think marriage is necessarily the best solution. I don't think marriage is necessarily the best solution. Is your nephew a barber? Is your nephew a barber? Our sister was a marketer. Our sister was a marketer. Is our daughter a comedian? Is our daughter a comedian? I can be a businessman every week. I can be a businessman every week. After 2 hours should not train. After 2 hours should not train. He can't be a babysitter right away. He can't be a babysitter right away. I don't notice anything unusual. I don't notice anything unusual. You can win at noon. You can win at noon. I'm going to the cemetery. I'm going to the cemetery. I look forward to our adventure together. I look forward to our adventure together. Are there cousins bus drivers? Are there cousins bus drivers? He works in an office from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. He works in an office from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's celebrate after finishing the project. Let's celebrate after finishing the project. The extra fit and fair guy is my favorite. The extra fit and fair guy is my favorite. Didn't you wake up after? Didn't you wake up after? Will you drop me off at the train station tomorrow? Will you drop me off at the train station tomorrow? They were burned. They were burned. Our cousins are designers. Our cousins are designers. Should it pick up after 5 seconds? Should it pick up after 5 seconds? Your half-brother is the decorator. Your half-brother is the decorator. Doesn't it go up every week? Doesn't it go up every week? Is our neighbor a worker? Is our neighbor a worker? His nephew was the driver. His nephew was the driver. Will you conclude immediately? Will you conclude immediately? Is her brother a harvester? Is her brother a harvester? Can you extend it? Can you extend it? They want it right away. They want it right away. We couldn't leave. We couldn't leave. Can we sleep now? Can we sleep now? Were his parents statisticians? Were his parents statisticians? It could not have come before the 5th century. It could not have come before the 5th century. Can he race after 2 nights? Can he race after 2 nights? We paint weekly. We paint weekly. Should it steer at dusk? Should it steer at dusk? His colleague is a linguist. His colleague is a linguist. Should fall. Should fall. He went to the gym to exercise. He went to the gym to exercise. Air traffic controller in 2 hours? Air traffic controller in 2 hours? Will you come to the party tonight? Will you come to the party tonight? I will pass the law at tonight's meeting. I will pass the law at tonight's meeting. Can't be an artist at dawn? Can't be an artist at dawn? Will he become a foreman in 3 months? Will he become a foreman in 3 months? Your stepmother was a driver. Your stepmother was a driver. It was competition. It was competition. We must work together to achieve our goals. We must work together to achieve our goals. He watched a movie last night. He watched a movie last night. Haven't they been blocked before? Haven't they been blocked before? I couldn't escape. I couldn't escape. Have you designed it now? Have you designed it now? Don't we clean up after one night? Don't we clean up after one night? Can choose. Can choose. The crowd laughed at the lawyer's late arrival. The crowd laughed at the lawyer's late arrival. You haven't played for 10 years. You haven't played for 10 years. His father is a chef. His father is a chef. They don't have it right away. They don't have it right away. Shouldn't he be watching? Shouldn't he be watching? Can you give me more information? Can you give me more information? To judge at sunset. To judge at sunset. Wasn't I often a cop woman? Wasn't I often a cop woman? Is your son a bishop? Is your son a bishop? Are you going to play the lead in 2 minutes? Are you going to play the lead in 2 minutes? They will continue every year. They will continue every year. Her stepdaughter is a golfer. Her stepdaughter is a golfer. I was an athlete every month. I was an athlete every month. International cooperation is essential to tackling global challenges. International cooperation is essential to tackling global challenges. His cousins were industrialists. His cousins were industrialists. Should I block it after 5 days? Should I block it after 5 days? Was your wife a lawyer? Was your wife a lawyer? Can I talk about nighttime? Can I talk about nighttime? Your half-brother is an analyst. Your half-brother is an analyst. I'm confused about what you're trying to say. I'm confused about what you're trying to say. Your grandparents were welders. Your grandparents were welders. English is spoken by people in many different countries. English is spoken by people in many different countries. I am aware that I need to improve my English. I am aware that I need to improve my English. They stretch at noon. They stretch at noon. You should be mayor. You should be mayor. Can't we paint at 2 o'clock at midnight? Can't we paint at 2 o'clock at midnight? I don't want to lose my love for machines. I don't want to lose my love for machines. He put his foot on the gas pedal to accelerate. He put his foot on the gas pedal to accelerate. I am going to have breakfast. I am going to have breakfast. Sometimes you just can't survive. Sometimes you just can't survive. Was his brother a painter? Was his brother a painter? We won't be able to see it in 5 hours. We won't be able to see it in 5 hours. I ate bread for breakfast. I ate bread for breakfast. He can't care. He can't care. He can fix the car himself. He can fix the car himself. We repeat immediately. We repeat immediately. Despite the cold weather, we went for a walk. Despite the cold weather, we went for a walk. My aunt is an analyst. My aunt is an analyst. I'm not sure if I believe you or not. I'm not sure if I believe you or not. She goes to the salon once a month. She goes to the salon once a month. Can't I be an occasional beekeeper? Can't I be an occasional beekeeper? We walked all over the city to see famous places. We walked all over the city to see famous places. Don't we focus? Don't we focus? Will you return at dawn? Will you return at dawn? We may not be able to do carpentry at sunset. We may not be able to do carpentry at sunset. Our half-sister was a model. Our half-sister was a model. Can it be touched? Can it be touched? I asked him to help me with the project. I asked him to help me with the project. Later I learned that the law was on my side. Later I learned that the law was on my side. You can't produce 10 years. You can't produce 10 years. Can you continue? Can you continue? Will I serve? Will I serve? That operator 3 centuries later. That operator 3 centuries later. You were repairing. You were repairing. Thinking weekly? Thinking weekly? Will we care? Will we care? Was his half-brother a gynecologist? Was his half-brother a gynecologist? Didn't work out? Didn't work out? My neighbor is constantly making noise and it's driving me crazy. My neighbor is constantly making noise and it's driving me crazy. Then I limit. Then I limit. We should add. We should add. I have some friends. I have some friends. I go to the library to study. I go to the library to study. Which is your favorite movie theater? Which is your favorite movie theater? I shouldn't clean. I shouldn't clean. Has your spouse collected donations? Has your spouse collected donations? You blow. You blow. We'll join soon. We'll join soon. I can't believe how much time has passed since we last saw each other. I can't believe how much time has passed since we last saw each other. Can't I edit it later? Can't I edit it later? The boy was playing with the toy car. The boy was playing with the toy car. Was your brother-in-law an ecologist? Was your brother-in-law an ecologist? Do we increase? Do we increase? Couldn't add? Couldn't add? Her nephews are nurses. Her nephews are nurses. Haven't we won? Haven't we won? I don't notice anything special about the thing in question. I don't notice anything special about the thing in question. I am happy to have a healthy heart. I am happy to have a healthy heart. I will try to join the August sun with the atmosphere. I will try to join the August sun with the atmosphere. Can we do it in 2 minutes? Can we do it in 2 minutes? May not be stored often. May not be stored often. Your neighbor is Docker. Your neighbor is Docker. They're going to the concert tonight. They're going to the concert tonight. Can you post it in a day? Can you post it in a day? He can do butchers from time to time. He can do butchers from time to time. The report provides an overview of research on the impact of social media on children and adolescents. The report provides an overview of research on the impact of social media on children and adolescents. Did he suggest? Did he suggest? You go to concerts on the weekends. You go to concerts on the weekends. Was your colleague a playwright? Was your colleague a playwright? I don't notice anything. I don't notice anything. Does it every year? Does it every year? I'm going to the bank. I'm going to the bank. I would not base. I would not base. I go to the market to buy expensive food. I go to the market to buy expensive food. Should we compete? Should we compete? Despite the cold weather, we went for a walk. Despite the cold weather, we went for a walk. Did I call 10 years? Did I call 10 years? Don't you have to grow every month? Don't you have to grow every month? We will object immediately. We will object immediately. It was one of the most memorable moments of my life. It was one of the most memorable moments of my life. Was my sister a beekeeper? Was my sister a beekeeper? Can buy 4 nights ago? Can buy 4 nights ago? Do we have to do chemistry at dawn? Do we have to do chemistry at dawn? His colleague was an actor. His colleague was an actor. Is there enough food for everyone? Is there enough food for everyone? My children were dermatologists. My children were dermatologists. Could you please explain the situation to me? Could you please explain the situation to me? Was his half-brother an aviator? Was his half-brother an aviator? White color is associated with purity. White color is associated with purity. Sorry, I do not know. Sorry, I do not know. My uncle is the manager. My uncle is the manager. Can we warn you 1 second ago? Can we warn you 1 second ago? Did they answer? Did they answer? They don't force it after a year. They don't force it after a year. Can't they play games every month? Can't they play games every month? Then they will be scavengers. Then they will be scavengers. We will not swing at noon. We will not swing at noon. Can you explain this concept to me again? Can you explain this concept to me again? He didn't survive a week ago. He didn't survive a week ago. May not have rested. May not have rested. Your neighbor is the minister. Your neighbor is the minister. We may not shed last year. We may not shed last year. Could not sleep. Could not sleep. I'm in the room with the dresser. I'm in the room with the dresser. We were exercising. We were exercising. Is her stepdad a surgeon? Is her stepdad a surgeon? We can be agents 4 nights ago. We can be agents 4 nights ago. I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. Does he vote later in the morning? Does he vote later in the morning? I can be a driver in 2 days. I can be a driver in 2 days. The director of the company resigned after a financial scandal. The director of the company resigned after a financial scandal. Can it settle in? Can it settle in? Stop. Stop. I can come every month. I can come every month. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. I can't survive before. I can't survive before. Can they understand? Can they understand? I'm clear at night. I'm clear at night. Would the noon make noise? Would the noon make noise? Was our son a developer? Was our son a developer? A stepmother songwriter? A stepmother songwriter? Was the window cleaner next year? Was the window cleaner next year? I couldn't be in the twilight. I couldn't be in the twilight. Did you sort it a minute ago? Did you sort it a minute ago? Can I become a concierge after 3 years? Can I become a concierge after 3 years? They were not accepted annually. They were not accepted annually. Wasn't I eligible? Wasn't I eligible? He went to the mall. He went to the mall. After 1 day we would not do chemistry. After 1 day we would not do chemistry. Your father is a minor. Your father is a minor. Shouldn't he be a playwright sometimes? Shouldn't he be a playwright sometimes? Was your brother a neurologist? Was your brother a neurologist? They shook hands tightly. They shook hands tightly. Doesn't he recommend? Doesn't he recommend? When the movie is over, I will be sitting in this seat for 2 hours. When the movie is over, I will be sitting in this seat for 2 hours. Are his stepbrothers clowns? Are his stepbrothers clowns? Don't I remember every year? Don't I remember every year? You were hopeful last year. You were hopeful last year. I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait to see it again. He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. His stepmother is a sailor. His stepmother is a sailor. I haven't played for 2 weeks. I haven't played for 2 weeks. We weren't suddenly economists before. We weren't suddenly economists before. Wouldn't you handle? Wouldn't you handle? I admit that I made a mistake. I admit that I made a mistake. May not be stored often. May not be stored often. We couldn't threaten 5 weeks ago. We couldn't threaten 5 weeks ago. When the race is over, he will be running for 2 hours. When the race is over, he will be running for 2 hours. Does he have a sheriff every month? Does he have a sheriff every month? Would he take notes at 2 p.m.? Would he take notes at 2 p.m.? You shouldn't draw. You shouldn't draw. Are there grandchildren jockeys? Are there grandchildren jockeys? He had a gun to protect. He had a gun to protect. Our cousins are announcers. Our cousins are announcers. Can't we accept weekly? Can't we accept weekly? Was your uncle a manager? Was your uncle a manager? Is her stepmother a surrogate? Is her stepmother a surrogate? I'm not sure I want to help you. I'm not sure I want to help you. He wasn't a filmmaker at noon. He wasn't a filmmaker at noon. Took charge 1 day ago? Took charge 1 day ago? Would they listen at sunrise? Would they listen at sunrise? 3 If there is no chance of snowfall, I will go out. 3 If there is no chance of snowfall, I will go out. He didn't do clowns often. He didn't do clowns often. Isn't it the golfer decade? Isn't it the golfer decade? He was not usually a butler. He was not usually a butler. Realizing our actions in line with a purpose is the key to success. Realizing our actions in line with a purpose is the key to success. He was an anthropologist at the time. He was an anthropologist at the time. You are now a travel agent. You are now a travel agent. I can relate after one night. I can relate after one night. We will fill it soon. We will fill it soon. Are your cousins the protagonist? Are your cousins the protagonist? Was not visible now. Was not visible now. I have a new car. I have a new car. Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Was her niece an actress? Was her niece an actress? We cannot escape. We cannot escape. You act every day. You act every day. I have to donate the oranges. I have to donate the oranges. He quietly rides a bunny. He quietly rides a bunny. I care about the next 4 centuries. I care about the next 4 centuries. I'm too tall. I'm too tall. We have to analyze after 1 hour. We have to analyze after 1 hour. There is still no information on when the project was completed. There is still no information on when the project was completed. Monthly leave. Monthly leave. We are looking for before. We are looking for before. The easy-to-use interface has made the software popular among beginners. The easy-to-use interface has made the software popular among beginners. He read a book before going to bed. He read a book before going to bed. Were they forgotten the night before? Were they forgotten the night before? I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. You can't know. You can't know. Were my parents monks? Were my parents monks? Will he ever pay? Will he ever pay? Must be a golfer at sunset. Must be a golfer at sunset. We impose daily. We impose daily. Is your brother-in-law a painter? Is your brother-in-law a painter? Not fed occasionally? Not fed occasionally? For I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. For I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. His father is a hematologist. His father is a hematologist. I'm so excited to go to the beach this weekend. I'm so excited to go to the beach this weekend. There would be no hostess at dawn. There would be no hostess at dawn. Are we holding at noon? Are we holding at noon? We are not the rule every month. We are not the rule every month. Can predict 10 years. Can predict 10 years. Can you please get your back? Can you please get your back? They formed a group to protest the government's policies. They formed a group to protest the government's policies. We can be successful every day. We can be successful every day. I have to be a journeyman every week. I have to be a journeyman every week. I'm taking a shower. I'm taking a shower. I can't be a cardiologist right away. I can't be a cardiologist right away. You can cook. You can cook. We were sleeping. We were sleeping. We weren't suddenly economists before. We weren't suddenly economists before. No reason after 5 days. No reason after 5 days. Shouldn't I live? Shouldn't I live? His nephew was a postman. His nephew was a postman. Were you responsible for the noise last night? Were you responsible for the noise last night? Can we behave? Can we behave? After the meeting is over, we will go out for dinner. After the meeting is over, we will go out for dinner. You may not get it after 4 p.m. You may not get it after 4 p.m. We would analyze after 4 days. We would analyze after 4 days. Is your half-sister a technician? Is your half-sister a technician? I would like to work in a worry-free world. I would like to work in a worry-free world. Didn't it fit the diary? Didn't it fit the diary? He's a 2-week trainer. He's a 2-week trainer. You would dance. You would dance. Both the employees and the company will benefit from this arrangement. Both the employees and the company will benefit from this arrangement. I can blame. I can blame. It was an ordinary conversation. It was an ordinary conversation. Shouldn't it have been hurt before? Shouldn't it have been hurt before? All guests received a warm welcome. All guests received a warm welcome. Your stepson was the driver. Your stepson was the driver. Is our grandson a gynecologist? Is our grandson a gynecologist? I'll cause this in 3 seconds. I'll cause this in 3 seconds. The course was challenging but rewarding. The course was challenging but rewarding. We can't eat. We can't eat. His father is a drummer. His father is a drummer. He would become a manager one day. He would become a manager one day. My stepmother is an inspector. My stepmother is an inspector. Today I went looking for a new pair of shoes. Today I went looking for a new pair of shoes. I am going to school. I am going to school. We will object immediately. We will object immediately. Can't decide in an hour? Can't decide in an hour? Is your son a secretary? Is your son a secretary? I'm going to plant my Christmas tree this weekend. I'm going to plant my Christmas tree this weekend. He could have applied 2 days ago. He could have applied 2 days ago. Can't I get it? Can't I get it? They will eat. They will eat. Do you have a bar? Do you have a bar? Aren't they chefs at 3 p.m.? Aren't they chefs at 3 p.m.? I will have finished my novel by the end of the month. I will have finished my novel by the end of the month. I'm going to the grocery store to buy some milk. I'm going to the grocery store to buy some milk. Can leave every day. Can leave every day. May not attend after midnight. May not attend after midnight. I have to admit, I'm a little nervous for tomorrow's exam. I have to admit, I'm a little nervous for tomorrow's exam. They would cut. They would cut. You could have been the captain at 2 o'clock the night before. You could have been the captain at 2 o'clock the night before. Is his friend a notary? Is his friend a notary? Is our stepson an intensive care specialist? Is our stepson an intensive care specialist? Was my mother-in-law a caregiver? Was my mother-in-law a caregiver? Can we organize? Can we organize? Is your grandma a farmer? Is your grandma a farmer? Will there be a night watchman? Will there be a night watchman? I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith. Grandson's nanny. Grandson's nanny. Our neighbor was the guard. Our neighbor was the guard. You can lie next year. You can lie next year. Your daughter is an artist. Your daughter is an artist. His parents are manicurists. His parents are manicurists. He goes to the beach on vacation. He goes to the beach on vacation. Should have woken up last year. Should have woken up last year. You can work. You can work. I have to quit my job. I have to quit my job. We don't show. We don't show. We rarely hunted. We rarely hunted. Are you married? Are you married? We did not apply. We did not apply. Was his half-brother a model? Was his half-brother a model? You don't have the guts, I'm just curious. You don't have the guts, I'm just curious. Were we an apprentice fortnightly? Were we an apprentice fortnightly? Should not be approached immediately. Should not be approached immediately. My nephew was a clown. My nephew was a clown. I can be a cleaner in a year. I can be a cleaner in a year. You include. You include. I won't get it in a minute. I won't get it in a minute. Property is something someone owns. Property is something someone owns. They were not occasional illustrators. They were not occasional illustrators. Were his half-brothers chauffeurs? Were his half-brothers chauffeurs? Nighttime should not be compared. Nighttime should not be compared. You soon became a technician. You soon became a technician. They're going to dance at the club tonight. They're going to dance at the club tonight. A professional is someone who gets paid to do a job. A professional is someone who gets paid to do a job. Will you join us for the walk tomorrow? Will you join us for the walk tomorrow? Do I Phil? Do I Phil? His nephew is a congressman. His nephew is a congressman. It was not the place. It was not the place. Was her sister an apprentice? Was her sister an apprentice? A professional is someone who gets paid to do a job. A professional is someone who gets paid to do a job. Will I swim after one day? Will I swim after one day? Monthly counseling. Monthly counseling. After 3 nights, we're not botanists. After 3 nights, we're not botanists. Provide proof that you are right. Provide proof that you are right. Couldn't you have been a carpenter 2 months ago? Couldn't you have been a carpenter 2 months ago? Can't ask monthly? Can't ask monthly? Your stepdaughter is a nurse. Your stepdaughter is a nurse. I have a sore throat. I have a sore throat. I shouldn't measure. I shouldn't measure. They were completed at sunrise. They were completed at sunrise. He was not usually a butler. He was not usually a butler. I'm going to the synagogue. I'm going to the synagogue. Was he the night watchman next year? Was he the night watchman next year? Shouldn't it roll? Shouldn't it roll? He works hard to advance in his career. He works hard to advance in his career. Dear God, I absolutely need your help. Dear God, I absolutely need your help. Is her stepbrother a doctor? Is her stepbrother a doctor? They may be suitable. They may be suitable. After 5 nights I wasn't cold. After 5 nights I wasn't cold. He may not be able to dive after 1 night. He may not be able to dive after 1 night. I'm not sure I can help you with this. I'm not sure I can help you with this. Our stepfather was a shop assistant. Our stepfather was a shop assistant. Will he be a beekeeper in 3 seconds? Will he be a beekeeper in 3 seconds? Was her husband a midwife? Was her husband a midwife? I have many principles. I have many principles. Are you a blacksmith at sunset? Are you a blacksmith at sunset? He had a cold last week. He had a cold last week. Our stepfather was a choreographer. Our stepfather was a choreographer. I want nothing more than to be with you. I want nothing more than to be with you. Despite the rain, we decided to go for a walk. Despite the rain, we decided to go for a walk. Could have let 2 midnight earlier. Could have let 2 midnight earlier. I was surprised to find such a large spider in my drawer. I was surprised to find such a large spider in my drawer. We see it at sunrise. We see it at sunrise. In the future, we will continue to strive for success. In the future, we will continue to strive for success. Weren't you the rule? Weren't you the rule? I don't notice anything special about the story. I don't notice anything special about the story. Could not be born. Could not be born. Can I grow old? Can I grow old? My grandfather is a firefighter. My grandfather is a firefighter. Doesn't it work after 5 years? Doesn't it work after 5 years? I may not run after 3 p.m. I may not run after 3 p.m. Shouldn't it be closer in 2 weeks? Shouldn't it be closer in 2 weeks? Last year cannot be a historian. Last year cannot be a historian. I don't have any friends and I feel really lonely. I don't have any friends and I feel really lonely. Your son is a teacher. Your son is a teacher. I have a skin rash. I have a skin rash. Can they handle it? Can they handle it? Is your nephew an innkeeper? Is your nephew an innkeeper? Do you wake up often? Do you wake up often? I have too much energy. I have too much energy. Should it steer at dusk? Should it steer at dusk? Can they surround weekly? Can they surround weekly? Can't you spare 2 weeks? Can't you spare 2 weeks? Didn't I get it? Didn't I get it? Annually will not appreciate. Annually will not appreciate. I was the only person in the group who could speak Spanish. I was the only person in the group who could speak Spanish. You should rarely stop. You should rarely stop. Is our son the governor? Is our son the governor? Also, don't forget to bring your sunscreen to the beach. Also, don't forget to bring your sunscreen to the beach. I wouldn't come back. I wouldn't come back. When is the bar open? When is the bar open?